right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PokerStrategy.com TSL3 opening weekend. It is day 2 here. We saw MC quickly take game number 1, and now we start here on game 2 on Tal'Darim Altar. MC, the red Protoss, will be spawning in the southeast position, and his opponent, the blue Zerg, Ciara, will be spawning in the northeast position. Now, Husky, we saw pretty heavy pressure coming out there by MC early on. He had the confidence that he was going to be able to break that, and he did with his zealot squadron of death, if you will. And now we've got a little bit larger map. Do you think that that's going to benefit our Zerg player any more?
Well, I do think it's going to benefit MC just based on the skill level that we've seen so far. As far as the maps are concerned, in the large scheme of things, if 2 players are equally matched, then it can favor one player or the other. But oGs.MC, you can see him putting a pylon down already at his expansion. This is telling me he is going to go for a very fast Nexus, and he will, when the Nexus goes down, will depend on what his opponent is going as far as the spawning pool timing. And so if oGs.MC is able to securely get his second base, I think he will be in great shape, just because the Korean players are usually known for macro style of play, and the foreigners a lot of times are more reliant on micro. And so if oGs.MC is able to secure that, able to get that 2-base Protoss that all the Protoss players know and love, then I think he will be in a great shape. And also, he was able to scout the correct way right off the bat, so he's going to know the timing of that spawning pool, which is going to dictate when the Nexus and when the Forge goes down.
Yeah, that is a great point. And right now we haven't seen any sort of a second hatchery here for the Zerg. So that's going to put MC at an even, better comfort level here, because, they always say, listen, as Zerg, you need to stay that 1 base ahead. Well, versus MC, you need to stay 5 bases ahead. And that's going to be very difficult right now for Ciara to do. So he's going to get his pool first, no gas quite yet. So he's going to still have speedlings, not for a while. And that is just going to allow MC to do what he wants to do. Sure, a little bit of a risk, but I guess if you are that confident Korean Protoss player, why not?
And in game number 1, we did see MC star sense in that he went so many zealots because he knew he was just combating those Zerglings, and that will be important in this game because Ciara already knows, well, MC is going to be trying to go the build that is best against my build, and he's going to have a nice game sense to do that. You can see the cannon going down right now. He does know the potential threat of a couple of Zerglings, but fast expanding on this map is extremely common. You can see the gateway going down at that natural choke point as well. And now the question becomes for MC, what is he going to be following this up with? Is he going to stick with gateway units, kind of like we saw in game 1, given that was a super short game, or is he going to go Stargate? I have seen MC go Stargate on the 2-base many times, and you can open either with the Phoenix or the Void Rays. And if I'm MC at this point, I'd be confident enough probably just to go Void Rays or just mass gateway units.
No, I think you're right, and we have seen him do that versus other Zerg players. In fact, most recently last night. Now, unfortunately, that game, it did not work out for him because it was countered by probably the only thing that could have done it, and we won't go too much into spoilers there, but definitely watch those matches out. Now, we've got the second hatchery about to finish for the Zerg. MC's going to send a probe right in here, and he has still got free reign over what's going on. We see a lot of drones transitioning over. There is a queen at both of those right now, and just now, Husky, we're getting gas out of the Zerg player. Now, as it stands, MC is not going to be making any attacks anytime soon, but he does have his Psy-Core down. We've still got a drone inside the base, so he's going to be able to see what's going on. But a little surprising that we saw the Zerg player just waiting so long. He is definitely going for that macro style, so he's just got to be ready to pump all those units out, get the upgrade he's going to be able to need, because MC is going to be really beefy when he does decide to attack.
I do gotta say, I do like Ciara's play, going for more drones this time, just macroing up like crazy. We saw the production tab. He was basically making drones that entire time. Now, one slight mistake he made was his queen actually got off of the creep there for a while, so his inject Varva timing was way off, and the queen just now getting back up there. But the Roach Warren is going to be on the way in Ciara's base, and we do see the Stargate being placed at oGs.MC's expansion, and a lot of times Korean players will place this at the expansion, just trying to reduce the chance that it will be scouted. However, that drone is going to spot it. It looks like that drone has 1 HP, is going to spot it. So ieSciara is going to know exactly what's headed his way, going to steal that last gas because he knows that MC is going to be going for higher tech structures, and also he wants to keep that drone alive long enough to see if that building is canceled. So ieSciara is going to have some time here to deal with either Phoenix or Void Rays, depending on what MC wants to go with, and the lair is on the way beginning the second that he saw that, so probably going to try and get out some Hydralisks to deal with that. Just looking at the units tab, there is 3 queens, not sure if he's going to produce more or not.
Yeah, and actually, I love that, and you called it really nicely there. MC sort of putting it at his natural, hoping that that drone inside the base isn't going to want to come anywhere near because of that photon cannon that's sitting at the front. But taking that gas gave him that little bit longer vision. Is he going to cancel it, which we've known MC to do? Throw one thing out, but then cancel, go with the other. And we do have the third hatch going down for ieSciara right now. He's got an awful lot of amount of drones all over the place, so he really did put a lot of time and effort into droning up really hard. So now it's going to come down to what sort of army is he going to produce, how is he going to effectively use that army, and also the question I wonder is what is he going to do about this one Void Ray that's making his way over to his base right now?
Absolutely, there is an Evo Chamber, but no Spore Crawler on the way. The Void Ray is going to get the base now. One Queen can kind of hold her own against a Void Ray until the second one is going to reinforce that, but we still see no Spore Crawlers and no Hydralisk in or additional Queens on the way. So far it looks like he's just trying to hold this off with a couple of Queens, but considering a second Void Ray has spawned, a third Void Ray is being produced, I don't know if ieSciara is going to have the correct response. He's continuing to make a lot of drones. The Hydralisk in just now starting, even going for a Roach upgrade, so I don't know if he realizes just how many Void Rays are headed his way. Maybe he's expecting Phoenix or something like that, but the Hydralisk in may be too little too late as there's no Spore Crawler backup here, and this one Queen is definitely going to get melted away.
Yeah, really scary. Normally you do kind of expect those Phoenixes, but that one Queen is going to go away, and now these Voiders are going to be so charged, they're just going to chew through these drones oh so quick. Another Queen comes up from the back, second one comes from the third hatchery as well, and one Queen will go down. Only one Void Ray has lost his shields. Finally, it's taking health damage right now, but that is going to be a third Queen that will fall, and oh no, those Roaches aren't going to be helping out too much in here, and this is where MC just has free reign. It's a buffet of Zerg right here, as now he's choosing to go after Overlord, supply blocking the Zerg player, already has him down to 70 supply, going to take out 2 more and put him at about 54. I cannot believe this third Void Ray is coming, and even though it was scouted, I don't know that there was necessarily enough of a response from ieSciara to handle this threat.
Yeah, ieSciara definitely delayed getting his correct units for a little too long. That just shows you StarCraft 2 is a game of seconds. He could have got those Hydralisks maybe 10 seconds earlier, and that would have made a huge difference here. It does look like he will clean up these Void Rays. There is one inside of his base. Looks like that one will escape. The Queen throwing her darts to try and take that out, but that was massive amounts of damage. The Zerg player is still supply blocked. During that MC, he was macroing the entire time. You can see at his base, he has a sizable ground army opening up the entrance. He is ahead in supply already. So ieSciara, I think his nerves got the better of him because that was not the standard response to seeing that Stargate. While he was able to get that third base up, and that is good for him, I think he just took way too much damage there. All of his Overlords were clumped up. He lost many Overlords there. And again, this just shows the confidence of MC, able to move in there with those Void Rays, even sacrificing a couple of them. He's already done the damage he needs to, taking base for base. He has his third base on the way as well. MC could not be in a better position right now.
This is really interesting, and as you'd mentioned, MC did not skip a beat there on his macro, now getting his third base, as you mentioned. And we do see some upgrades coming out from the Zerg player, but it's even more interesting that MC is going to have these 2 Void Rays left in this, in whatever fight will actually take place here. Now, what ieSciara is doing right now is he still doesn't have that many ground units right now, only 7 Roaches, 5 Hydras, but he is 1 behind on his drones, only has a couple of Zerglings out. He has gotten all of his Queens back, and that's just the thing. In order to keep his macro up, he's had to remake his Overlords, remake the 3 Queens that died, and that put him behind a lot for this army. So I'm wondering how long it's going to be, like how much more of a window is MC going to give him before he does decide to attack, because he's got to know that he has a considerable lead against his opponent right now.
And after losing such big battles, ieSciara realizes I need to expand as well. And if we do look at ieSciara's view, he does not even know about that third base of MC, so he may not realize just how far behind he is. I mean, obviously he lost that first battle decisively, but he may think he's okay being on 4 base while the Protoss is on 2 base. And another thing I want to mention is that was really good on MC. The worker count you mentioned, we're only 13 minutes in the game and already 67 probes for the Protoss players. So that means he did not cut probes during that. He was just very confident in that small attack. Once again, again, the Void Ray, that timing attack is not really meant to kill your opponent, but he did more damage than I think he expected to.
Right.
ieSciara is going to be sending out Overlords all the way in the center of the map, and so the build that oGs.MC went is super safe because he had his huge macro, tons of probes to fall back on, which is why he's actually leading the Zerg player in probe, or in the worker count at 13 minutes into a game. That is not a good situation. MC knows it, and he's going to move out right now.
Yeah, MC moves forward. He hits the eastern Xel'Naga tower, and he does get vision of what is going on there. Now, there was a Zerg army that had pushed forward. Thankfully, he just put one Ling just to see what might have been coming, and that probably saved a lot of deaths from his army. He also hasn't quite spread the creep out to the middle, where he's probably going to want to fight, be in those more open areas here on Tal'Darim Altar. Also, one other thing to notice is MC is doing a lot of active scouting with this probe that's over in the northwest, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to scout this base here very, very soon. I do not think that he knows about it quite yet, but he knows that the Overlord's coverage is going out around the map, so he's got to be keeping a close eye on here. Meanwhile, there we can see the Observer taken out, and so that's going to put MC a little bit in the dark. He still looks confident enough that he might move out here. He does have one Colossus out. There comes the second one following, and he's got nice defense here at his third base. So I think whoa, wow, the Zerg looks like they might move out.
Now, do take a look at the army size tab here. Now, you may look at that and go, oh, ieSciara is way ahead. The problem is while he's at 194 to 162 for MC, the problem is a huge tech advantage for MC. He does have the 2 Colossus, a third one about to spawn, and there are so many sentries there that he will be able to force field like crazy. If you didn't watch the finals of oGs.MC, his force fields are terrifying. I am having nightmares every night since then because they are so good. So even though ieSciara does have a an army size advantage, really the tech is super far behind. You can see him just now getting out a couple of Corruptors, and it looks like the battle may commence in the center. The positioning for ieSciara is going to be pretty good. However, MC does have the confidence to turn around the force field. They're going to be blocking and trapping half of these roaches. Not every unit is actually attacking. Some of the roaches are trying to escape there, and this is what I'm talking about when I say a tech advantage. MC has the perfect army composition. That army is quickly melting down, and you can see even supply counts here for both players, which means that MC is winning that battle very one-sidedly, and ieSciara is going to have to scramble to try and get an army to deal with this. He just did not have the Corruptor positioning that he needed, or the Corruptor count that he really needed in order to kill all these Colossus.
Yeah, some great force fields there. They did force even those Hydras to have to move around to the side. That spread them out a little bit, and made the DPS just a little bit less effective. And now MC's going to have the option of harassing this natural expansion here because of the cliff right there. It does look like he's moving forward. A lot of roaches did come out for the Zerg player, but unfortunately, Guardian Shield is up. We got some good protection here of these Colossus, and this is not going to be good for the Zerg player here. I do believe that MC is going to be able to take this army out. Here comes some Zealots to reinforce from the south, and I think from this point, Husky, he just pushes forward and wins the second game.
Absolutely, and I do think that ieSciara played better in this game than in game number 1, but the problem was that those Void Rays did way too much damage. We did finally see ieSciara's macro kick into overdrive. He did have a supply advantage, and even after losing that battle, able to re-macro up another army, but it's just not enough to stop this Protoss ball. You can see only 1 Colossus remains in this army, so I think that if he didn't take so much damage in that initial Void Ray harass, that he would have been able to at least hold off this initial push, and it could have gone into the late game. But MC is just way too good, man. This is why he's the GSL champion 2 times over. He has a good game since. He never missed a beat. ieSciara is going to GG out of this game, and MC able to take that. I don't think that is a huge surprise, but ieSciara just did not have what it took to stand up to him. So oGs.MC is going to advance, and he did it quite convincingly, taking this 2-0. At no point was I worried for oGs.MC. He just didn't skip a beat and was able to very convincingly take that series.
He is the god Protoss, and he proves it once again right there. And, to echo what you said, Husky, you're right that ieSciara did play, I think, much better in that matchup. Sure, he could have handled the Void Ray pressure a little bit better, and I would not have been surprised if he was just expecting a couple of Phoenixes to follow up there, and then he would have probably been a little bit more in tune to what happened. But the second that second Void Ray joined the party, it was just a bunch of bullies had made their way in, and they were going to cause as much trouble as they possibly could. So I think you're absolutely right. Had he handled that a little bit better, or gotten those Hydras out a little sooner, maybe he would have had a stronger army there in the first battle. Certainly wouldn't have let those void rays pay for themselves. So oGs.MC does defeat ieS-Ciara in 2 games, and pretty convincingly. We have our first, our first player from day 2 moving forward. As congratulations to MC. Any other thoughts on that matchup, Husky?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory exactly what happened there. The huge favorite able to take it, and that's exactly what I think everyone expected to happen. So we do have our next matchup. It is going to be Loner versus White Raw, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I wrote these down in the correct order. And we are going to have a quick commercial break here, but that last series, I think that's what people expected to happen, and I don't know what is going to happen in the second series. This is one that I am super, super excited about. It is going to be a Protoss versus Terran in the next matchup. So, yeah, we are going to go ahead and get that started here in just a minute. And so, yeah, if you guys did not see the GSL, a lot of people out there ask me, what is the GSL? So I try and spread it around as much as I can. The fact that MC is able to win the GSL and also play in this tournament, that is phenomenal. I don't think a lot of people realize how huge of a thing that is to have the GSL champion play here. So, yeah, definitely go check out GOM.TV. They're the ones who are currently running the biggest StarCraft 2 tournament out there. And it's phenomenal to see him not only win that, and I think he'll definitely be a favorite to win in this tournament in the TSL3. So yeah, it looks like I'm all alone now, so DJ Wheat is having some technical difficulties there. So we are just going to go ahead and wait for him. Again, the next game is going to be Loner versus White Raw. Again, Loner is one of the best Chinese players out there, and I think a lot of people expected more Chinese players to be top tier, but Loner has been very successful in StarCraft 2, one of the best players there. He did very well in the BlizzCon last year, and so we'll see if he is going to be attending this next BlizzCon, and also can he put up as good of a show as he did in that BlizzCon, because he made it a lot of upsets in that tournament, and I got to watch that firsthand. It was very exciting stuff. And so that is as far as Loner goes. He also qualified for the GSL number 2, and he actually is one of the few players from outside Korea to move to Korea and to try and compete there. Didn't have as much success after the GSL 2, after qualifying for it, but either way, to compete in Korea is no small feat, especially if you're living in Korea, because you're constantly practicing on the Korean servers, which is going to be the most difficult server to play on, the most competitive. And it's just, if you want to be the best StarCraft 2 player that you can be, then you need to move to Korea. Loner did that, and we'll see if he's able to qualify for future GSLs. And he, at the BlizzCon 2010 finals, he did end up losing 0-4 to Genius, but at that point in his career, Genius was on fire. He won that tournament so easily, and he did get knocked down actually into the loser's bracket before hitting up the finals. And then, of course, we do have White Raw, who is from Ukraine. He is the winner of the HDH1 and many other tournaments. If you guys haven't seen his entry on Liquipedia, go look up White Raw. His medal cabinet is filled with nerd skulls that he has destroyed over the time. And he has one thing that's interesting that I thought was pretty cool after looking on Liquipedia is that White Raw has such a good success rate against the little one that there's got to be some sort of grudge there, because White Raw has never defeated him, as far as I know, has never defeated the little one in a complete sweep. The little one always gives him a fight for his money and will take 1, 2, or 3 games. But White Raw has a lot of success winning tournaments in the finals. And again, I want to mention he is almost 30 years old, which to me is awesome, because in the gaming world, 30 years old is about as old as you can get and be still. He's probably one of the oldest. I know Boxer's up there as well, so it is good to see these older school players doing that well. And the cool thing about StarCraft 2 that I really like is that a lot of it is more reliant on the way you think and the way you execute your builds, less so in StarCraft 1, where it is a lot more on mechanics. Of course, there was a lot of mind games and all that, but now you're starting to see older players do well because they have been experienced and they have known basically, I mean, they've seen it all at that point, so they can trick their opponents quite heavily, which is what I love about White Raw. He is also known for doing creative things like using immortal drops, which are not quite as effective as Reaver drops used to be. All the StarCraft 1 fans out there, if you remember Reaver drops, you could basically kill every single worker in one shot, or you could kill nothing because the AI on the Scarabs was so bad. But there's nothing quite like that in StarCraft 2. White Raw is still keeping that similar playstyle, though, trying to utilize the immortal drops. Unfortunately, Warp Prisms are like little paper airplanes that do get destroyed extremely easily, and if he does go for the the Immortal drop. A lot of times he will do it in PvP. Don't know if he likes to go that much in Terran versus Protoss, but it's very risky to do that, but it is very entertaining to watch. Some things that I've seen before. Are you back here, DJ Wheat?
Yes. I don't know what to say. I'm embarrassed.
Did your computer explode? Did you fix it? Are we ready?
I never have issues, and apparently just my computer's being all salty with me and wants to, be not play nice, because I never have issues. And then today, just 3 lockups, and thankfully it happened in between the games, and I'm going to hope that that's continued to be the case. But yeah, so I am back. I am here. I am loading up StarCraft 2 and getting back into the game. So where are we at?
We are actually going to be starting game number 1 between Loner and White Raw. I was just kind of, having fun talking to myself here while we waited. And again, it is going to be that Protoss versus Terran in the second series. So you did not miss a single game or a single second of the action. And so once you have that loaded up, we will cut to a commercial break, I believe, and then we will get the game started. So I am super amped. I was just hyping up both players, so now I have no idea who to cheer for, because I am nerding out on both of these players as they both have a long and fruitful history in StarCraft 2. So last series, I think we all had an idea of who was most likely going to win. This series, I do think, could go either way.
Yeah, and all I'm going to say here is I think it will depend a lot on how much Loner has been playing and how much practice he's been putting into StarCraft 2 at this point. I'll also throw out there that I think my wife is torn again. She loves both these players, being a Chinese national herself. She's probably going to be secretly rooting for Loner, as I think a lot of fans out there might be. But White Raw has such a huge following. He's been doing so well lately. So just based off of recent results, I got to think that White Raw is probably a little bit more favored. But man, Loner, a guy with arguably some decent history, especially being one of the best from China. So really interesting in this matchup. And yeah, I think we're going to have a quick commercial break, then we're going to go into game 1.
I do believe so. Let's go ahead and cut to the commercial break, and we are going to get this started. It will be a PvT on Metalopolis, White Raw versus Loner.